Hello, hello, and welcome to Music in Mind's uh, funding page. I'm James Ball. I'm a counsellor up here in North Wales, in Rhyl, sunny Rhyl, for one of the most, unfortunately, one of the most deprived wards in, well, not only in Rhyl, but one of the most deprived in Wales. Um, and yeah, I've had, following lots of um, study and personal uh, interest in the subject, I've decided to try and set up a community music sort of fund, really. The idea is, the kernel of the idea started 10 years ago with my own sort of personal involvement with music and specifically learning to play instruments and things while I was starting my first degree, which I found very difficult at the time because uh, I just didn't think I could do a degree. I thought it was beyond me, basically, uh, and I didn't want to. I was terrified of letting people down. Lots of stress, and all. Got very depressed at one point, and but luckily, by complete chance, I happened to have bought an instrument, or a guitar actually, on a whim, and started to learn that. And then shortly after that, a digital piano, and taught myself to read music and you know play the piano after a fashion. But I couldn't afford then or since. I've never been able to afford actual tuition, professional tuition, and I knew that it helped me personally, particularly with stress and times in life when you're sort of out of kilter with the rest of the world, and perhaps a bit of depression setting in, and all that. Really helped me. So anyway, cut a long story short, save you a lot of time listening to me. I've spent I finished my master's degree in January, and I basically spent my time researching music uh, therapy and music in the community, particularly uh, in the for better mental health, basically, and better community cohesion at all ages. So obviously, yeah, that was the focus. Wasn't sure I could write an entire dissertation on it, or there was enough to research about it. But when I started, I realised there was a lot of information. There was a lot of peer-reviewed studies that had been published quite recently, actually, certainly over the last 10 years, from all over the country, uh, to do with arts therapy in general, community art therapy in general, well, quite a lot more than I expected, specifically of music therapy and community. So, community choirs that obviously can be set up, uh, but I didn't find a lot about instrument funds, which is what I'm hoping to focus on here. So, one of the articles that I um, was very interested in, that I obviously used in my dissertation research, was from Scotland, from Glasgow actually, and it's from very poor parts of Glasgow, very deprived parts of Glasgow, where a lot of the especially the school age children and young people would have had no opportunity to purchase their own instruments, and certainly even if they could, then no means to pay for a professional tuition, music teachers, etc. So they basically in that area set up a Systema Scotland, and Systema is basically from comes from South America, an idea from the 60s, 70s, to basically help poorer children who couldn't afford to do so, and you know, in the world they're growing up in, just wouldn't think to, wouldn't be wouldn't be something to do. Basically, create their own orchestra. You know, give them instruments, teach them how to play them, and then obviously the cohesion of playing together. And obviously, they started touring the world, became very famous um, orchestra, of course, and Gustavo Dudamel at the moment. So yeah, that was sort of my sort of idea within the past year or so to try and do something similar here, where there isn't anything really. There's no youth sort of services or club in my part of Rhyl. Um, there's virtually nothing here for young people to do. I spend a lot of my time trying to help and help a lot of my older residents and elderly residents keep their heads above the water, particularly mentally and emotionally, because of sort of hardship economically, which is there's a lot of here, but also loneliness, which of course is a big problem nationally with or for our elderly neighbours and relatives and friends. So yeah, that's the idea. That's what we're doing here. Really, I'm trying to kick it off here now with some with this. So if basically the idea is to yeah, I'm trying to remember. The idea is to set up two things. One is um, a place where people can go to learn to play their instruments if we can get them. And so basically that means renting and paying for space in a local community centre, which is literally a few streets away and at the heart of the community. But I have no means of paying for it at all. So that's one part, and the other part is, of course, to set up an instrument fund where I can buy instruments uh, to hand out to those that can't afford instruments and would be interested in participating, basically. Um, so it's very early days. I've been trying to do this for a while, but I've been so snowed under trying to help people, literally with food bank referrals, everything, housing. It's just, it's just uh, awful at the minute. I can't express how bad it is for so many people here. So I spend a lot of my time, most of my time, doing that, really. Um, I'm going back to I'm supposed to be going back to university myself to start my PhD in September. So before I start all of that, I'm trying to kick all of this off first, before I sort of do that. So it's at least going then. So basically, yeah, I'm here to say if you're interested in, promoting music specifically, people learning to play instruments who wouldn't normally get the opportunity to, certainly wouldn't get the opportunity to have paid tuition, which of course is what I hope to do is get the instruments, get the space, pay for both, and then pay for tuition from local music teachers, which would be wonderful for anyone that wants to participate and otherwise couldn't. So I'm probably going to call it Music in Mind. There is a constitution being drawn up at the minute with myself as chair. I've got as financial officer secretary at the moment, and who else? Someone else in there. I see, I've gone blank. So much going in my head today. I've gone blank. Anyway, that's for the future. For the minute, I'm just trying to crowdfund. So if you would be interested in donating, interested in finding out more, please don't hesitate to email me on the details included on the page. And I've probably not done a great presentation, but thank you for your time. And yeah, let's see how it goes.